Didn't have to get dressed up for us there.
Well, I was at the
Look at you. Sit down. Have a seat.
County Commission meeting.
Ah.
And I'm going to go back because the citizens' input happened just as the time came up.
Just as we got started.
And then there's a business and women's professional forum tonight.
Well, see, and you're busy. Mr. Moore joining us today, this morning, and it's appreciate you coming in and doing this. And it's been a pretty busy campaign for you, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
Yeah, I guess that's done. A lot of folks are very familiar with your history and such, but one of the things that we like to do is start off with what got you to this point, what brought you to the county, what brought you to the point of running, and just kind of give people an overview of who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. So it's all you.
Okay, well, I've been in the county 14 years. I came here from Washington, D.C., where I lived and worked in the private sector and healthcare area, the HMO industry, for about 25 years. And I came here to Hernando County because I was attracted to its rustic and semi-rural area, the sereneness of the county, the beauty of the county, and the proximity to Tampa and St. Petersburg and so forth. I also came because I fell in love with my future wife. I got married for the first time in 2003 after courting her for 3 years here in Florida. And I've been married now 11 years to my wife, and we've adopted her grandson as our son.
Oh, my goodness.
And she has 2 adult daughters herself.
The independent candidate, Hernando County Commission, District 2, there's... You're very vocal about, in fact, your website, preservehernando.com.
Right.
You're very, very vocal about preserving things and keeping the charm and the rural qualities and such. Why is that important to you?
Well, because I think we're in danger of losing it, and it's pristine and there's a serenity, and it's, I think, why the majority of people have come to this county. And so I'm really upset that the commission and the administrator of our government has taken it upon themselves to forge ahead and create this contrived and artificial economic development thrust that I think is going to disrupt the county in many ways. Economically, burden the taxpayer, hurt us pollution-wise, congestion-wise with traffic. It's just going to create chaos and upheaval, as we're witnessing now with this nature preserve issue.
Because jobs is still, to a lot of the folks that participate in this program, that's still the tax situation in creating more jobs. Mm-hmm. Can you maintain the county on that level and still create those jobs? How do you do that?
Well, first of all, I'm for limited growth, okay? Mm-hmm. Preserving Hernando County the way it is. And there are a lot of jobs out of the county, and a lot of people commute to those. But we don't have an adequate transportation system. So one way for me to create jobs is to develop and establish, and the county establish a neighborhood shuttle service door to door. And this is a great need. There's about 55,000 seniors, and there's 22,000 veterans, many of them disabled, that would have a need for that. It would create less traffic, less road maintenance, more jobs, and more efficiency as far as enabling people to get to the store, get to the doctor, get to the church, whatever.
And that was, if I remember, a conversation that we had a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago now. The bus isn't the alternative, but actually having that shuttle would probably be a better idea. Would you scrap the bus completely?
Pretty much so, yeah. The bus is not really beneficial to a great amount of people, and it's only in the major arteries. So these shuttle buses could go door to door and then go to the locations, the small businesses or the doctor's offices or whatever, to the schools. So we really wouldn't need the large buses at all.
The service, it's a cost that's already being spent, but it's something that you feel is
we could replace it, and save money and create jobs and allow the private sector to take it over and administer it. And I think it would be a great boon. The same is true for healthcare. There's so many people in need that are elderly. We could establish a medical school here. I sent a letter to the director of the medical school in Tampa. They're considering right now relocating their establishment. And I said this is an ideal semi-rural county with 3 hospitals nearby. Wow. And we have residency programs now. We could also bring in, attract pharmaceutical companies to conduct research and development, universities, things of that nature. Those are the type of jobs. They're soft jobs. They're not disruptive jobs to the roads, to the county, to the citizens, to the noise issue and factor. And we could really, I think, and that's our identity. That's who we are and what we want to be, and not what the county or the administrator is pushing down our throats.
So basically, to kind of control growth is really the backbone, really, of what you're talking about.
But a more natural way of growing. Okay, this is the need for transportation, the need for studying the health conditions of our seniors. These are the needs, and we would grow into them as the county has grown now. Mm-hmm. The county's grown over the past 20 years on a more natural basis. Now, all of a sudden, they want to impose a new penny tax. They want to take $3 million out of our revenues to pay for some nature center that we don't need. Just because the state and the governor is giving us a gift, we think we should run and match it with $3 million. And now they're talking about $1.7 million more dollars to buy the parcel of land if they want to establish it out near I-75. So this is unending and disruptive and costly, and I'm just really angry about it.
You're very passionate about it. I will say that. There's no doubt about you're very passionate about this. Mm-hmm. How do you feel that? What direction do you think the school should be taken?
Well, the school blew it, and they're blowing it now by collaborating with the county. 3 of the 5 board members voted for it, but their superintendent urged them not to vote for it. And they've sold out, and now they've been, in a sense, in my opinion, blackmailed. The county is using the guise and the image of children and education to get their half-cent tax. All right? They can't do it on their own. They know they haven't done it on their own beforehand. And now the administrator is saying, don't hurt our children. Oh, please spare me. So the school board has to get a backbone, all right, and take their fight back to the commission. Now, I, as a commissioner, will support the impact fees, which they did not do. They should have. There's a long-term debt that the school has incurred in 2008 when the boom happened and they built all these schools. Now we're overbuilt, but we still have this debt. They turned their backs on that. They turned their backs on maintaining some of the roads that need to be repaired. But this penny tax is going to fund new expansion of highways. And get this, $57 million of the $83 million for the county will be used for Barkley and Powell roads to broaden. 33 of the 57 million goes to right-of-way owners, landowners, people that own the lands right in front of the highway. So we're not talking about, and then another 11.5 million goes to the airport, this economic savior that they think is going to bring jobs and money and business and profit, and it's very contrived and very artificial and that's not what the citizens want. They're threatening our safety by imposing an increased traffic over our heads, causing the county now will have to maintain this airport, and especially if the feds turn our airport privilege around. They made promises to get the tower, and they're not fulfilling them. They lied to the federal government, apparently, with their statistics and their data, and now it's coming home to roost. And who's going to be holding the hat? You know, the county.
The independent candidate for Hernando County Commission 2, District 2, Brian Moore is with us. 796-7272 is our number, 888-613-2050. You're good for phone calls if you want them.
Very much
Okay.
so. And by the way, I'm running against the incumbent Republican Wayne Dukes and Jimmy Lodato, the Democrat.
Well, stand by. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back. If your calls, if there are any questions, any concerns, thoughts, you know where to find us. 796-7272. Stand by.
WWJB, News Talk 1450 and 103.9 FM.
Welcome back. We are talking to Mr. Brian Moore today. He is independent candidate for Hernando County Commission District 2. Good morning, JB Radio.
Good morning, Mr. Moore. You made a comment a while ago about shuttle from house to house here in Hernando County. Is that going to cost more than what our bus costs today?
No, I would assume it's. There are other models around the not only the country but in the world. The ideal model is down in Brazil, by the way. It's very cost effective, and they prepay sometimes, or they pay a fee up front, and so it would be less expensive than what we as taxpayers are paying right now, or have to when we board the big bus. So because of the volume of people that would use it, can you imagine door to door? People can get rid of their cars. Anywhere they wanted to go, they could order a bus to come to their house. I mean, that's like taxi service, right?
Well, yes, it is, but then that would have to be kind of expensive because gas don't come cheap.
Well, yeah, but when you have 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 people on the same block that are ordering buses, that can really, I mean, we're going to create employment, but drivers and, even the volume of buses shuttles that will be needed to carry a county of 170,000 people.
Now, what you're talking about rural areas too, because here a while back when they installed the bus service, it was for Brooksville and Spring Hill. And it does do those areas there. It goes around here and there. Now, what you're talking about, you're going to do something countywide?
Countywide, door to door.
That's going to go out to Nobleton and over to
Floral City and Hernando Beach and, Ridge Manor and, you name it. And not only that, but we should have inter-county connections of these shuttle buses to Pasco County so that it'll enable you to eventually get to Tampa, get to St. Petersburg, go to Orlando. I mean, this has many, many ramifications, and it's simple. And it's inexpensive, and it will meet the need. This is one of the great needs in this county right now.
Well, I agree with that, but the idea of it is, I don't know about the cost. I don't know what it's going to cost to get on that shuttle. You say it's free.
No, I didn't say it was free, ma'am. I said that there would be a fee for service, but it would be less expensive than what we as taxpayers are paying now for this large bus. In many ways, I think the county might be able to supplement a portion of the fee, but people will have to prepay a premium depending on how often they use it. And this would be, this may surprise you, but I am envisioning a shuttle bus program 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, enabling people that work at night, going to school at night. All of these would be enable them to accomplish this, so that Hernando County would be an easy county to access your needs, your service needs, your enjoyment needs, your entertainment needs. And just think what it'll do to the small businessman and what he can do if he wants to send something from his store back to the home. They can contract with the shuttle service too, just almost like a delivery service.
Well, it all sounds very good. I'm just wondering how much it's going to cost in the long run.
Well, here I'm the conservative in this. I'm against the penny tax. I'm against the increasing the tourist tax. I'm against the use of $3 million for this nature preserve. Okay, I'm against any and all taxes. All right, I want to save money. I want to keep Hernando semi-rural. We don't need to expend these dollars on highway construction. We don't need more shopping plazas. We don't need, this is like, half the plazas now are empty. All right, we don't need to put more money into the airport. We don't need a U.S. Customs office there. We don't need overflying helicopters and jets and drones that they want to put in there. I mean, people that live near the airport are frustrated now. They're being bothered by the noise, and they're afraid that something's going to drop on them. This is a safety issue as well as a preserve issue of the county, keeping our character the way we want it, the way we love it. You know, let's not lose our character. Let's be. We're not a Pasco County. We're not Hillsborough County. We are Hernando County.
Well, everything you've said has been very interesting, and I would like to hear more about it some other time. I know you've got a program here that you've got going. Other people want to call too, but you pretty much got me started on something, and I will be following through on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Have
Miss.
a good day, sir.
Thank you, sir, ma'am.
It sounds, you're going to get a pushback on that about, it sounds like a great idea, but the practicality of cost, I think, is probably the biggest pushback you'll get from people.
Well, if you have everybody paying money in the future that are not paying now, just think of the increased volume of revenues. Nobody, you understand? I mean, there's very few riders on these big buses. What happens if you go from, 1,000 people to 20,000 people, okay, or 50,000 people that use these buses? Can you imagine the revenues generated by that?
You're going to make some money off it if you get to work. Hang on, we got another call real quick. Good morning, JB Radio.
Yeah, I want to ask your guest a question. If you get rid of that mandatory garbage collection to the water bill.
Now,
okay, what's the question, sir?
Get rid of the refuge collection, make it non-mandatory refuge collection where they always put on your water bill, and if you live in a certain area, they make it mandatory collection for garbage.
Well, here again, I think you should pay for what you get, and so I would be of the mindset. I don't have great in-depth knowledge of this, but I am of the mindset that you should be only paying for the services that you get and use, and they in itself should pay for themselves. All right. So
I'm paying double. They tax me to go to the landfill, and then I pay for that pickup. But like I said, anybody but Wayne Dukes. It's time for Wayne Dukes to go. I definitely vote for an independent now. Get Wayne Dukes out of there.
All right. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. There's other solutions I have for other areas, too. The sinkhole is we are Sinkhole Alley here. I really think that we should establish standards for the housing industry to stabilize these homes better, to make it more attractive for people to want to purchase a home here. Also, we need a desalinization plant nearby that would enable us to fill up the aquifer with clean, pure water, and therefore it would decrease the ability of these sinkholes. The sinkholes result from caverns and empty caverns of aquifers that were formerly filled. So these are different solutions that I think that will make the county more attractive and less fearful to businesses and to residents that want to come here and enjoy our beautiful scenery and on our coast. Hey, what about our coast, man? We're a nature coast. We're not the Gold Coast. We're not the cement coast. We have a beautiful, natural, pristine Gulf setting, and we should preserve that.
I want to get to this call real quick before we get to the news. You got about 3 minutes here. Good morning, JB Radio.
Good morning, Brian, Skip. Brian, with the fire department costing $38 million a year and 20,000 of their 25,000 calls being routine ambulance calls,
yes.
Would you support the idea of privatizing the ambulance portion of the fire department and making it so that it's competitive for price and service versus a government monopoly?
Well, I don't know if I'd put it that way. I think it does raise a serious question. Although at the county commission board meeting this morning, the fire chief was there to say that every 27 hours there's a fire in Hernando County. But I did look at some statistics last night, and according to the national average on any location of 100,000 or more citizens, you need 28 firefighters per 10,000 citizens. So, which means we would need approximately 476 firefighters. But I am of the mindset that we really need different types of services: hurricane prevention and response, train derailments with liquid chemicals and fires. Those are the types of these sophisticated services, and other extraction of people from car wrecks and rescuing people in collapsed homes and hurricanes. And so, I think that there are other functions that we could transfer if there are an abundance of firemen and fire trucks over to these types of services. So I don't envision reducing the fire staff as much as I envision expanding and kind of making a tighter type of service, a fire service for the county.
How do you feel about the county buying up more land?
I really don't. Well, I don't like the idea of buying that parcel at $1.7 million for the nature preserve, the nature center that they want to do out in 75. But I do support the idea of protecting our natural environment, and I really think it has great benefits to the county. And I wish the commissioners would be more disposed to preserving and protecting these sacred lands.
But in order for equal time, I want you to stay through the news so you can wrap up and have a final statement, if that's all right.
Thank you very much, Skip.
Thank you all for calling.
News Talk 1450 WWJB Brooksville, Spring Hill. Now on FM at 103.9.
Welcome back to the program. Skip Mahaffey and your phone calls. In interest of equal time and being fair to all the candidates, I've asked Mr. Moore to stay for a couple of more minutes because we have a lot of phone calls from folks, but I think it's just an opportunity for you to just make your last pitch and your last plea before you head back over to go talk to the folks in the city.
Okay, well, I really don't think that the government should be in the business of economic development and creating jobs, all right? That's the private sector. They should be doing that. And the county, I think, has done a reasonably natural job of that over the past 20 to 30 years. I would really like to see, I also don't think that we should be implementing this nature center anywhere. They're having discussions about I-75, Weeki Wachee Preserve, et cetera. I think that the schools are to educate, not to make them commercial agents or not to, put them in bed with the corporations. And I think there's too much of an emphasis on business by our leaders, not only to the students and the educational community, but to the community at large. We really need to go back to the basics and preserve what we have and educate and keep people in line with the common good, and that's what I'm all about. I mean, that's what I'm going to protect the taxpayers' money. And I really think that we should, if we're going to increase the property values of these homes, we have to do it without burdening the taxpayer with higher property taxes. We, in effect, would have to lower the millage when that occurs. And I don't, the housing industry is something that I think it's reached its apex here. It's no longer the answer to our solutions. We still should have some construction, but to promote more urbanizations with 500 or 1,000 homes is just going to be contrary to the interests of the county and the citizens and the environment and the taxpayers and so forth. So, Brian Moore is an independent and an economic conservative. I'm frugal about how we use our dollars. We should protect what we have and not by hook, line, and sinker what this county administrator, Mr. Sossaman, is promoting and what the 5 commissioners think should happen. It's not jobs, jobs, jobs. They will come naturally and normally, and I think some of my solutions will even create more jobs, the right type of jobs for meeting the right kind of needs. So when you cast that ballot in November, please remember me. There's 3 people on the ballot, and I'll be the third name, Brian Moore, independent.
Mr. Moore, elect Brian Moore. You can go to preservehernando.com, and all the information is there. Thank you for coming by, sir.
Thank you, Skip.
It's my pleasure, sir.